Good evening. Hope you're doing well. I'm all hair free. Ooh. Feels nice. Feels good. I've worked out it's about 8 weeks I can handle before it gets too much, and then it has to go. It has to go. I need to lose it. And I'm on a bit of a kind of weight loss kick as well at the moment. So this was an easy 100 grams, right? It all counts. It all counts. That's my advice. If you're gonna do a weight loss thing, wait till you're very, very full and you've got a long beard and a lot, well, say a lot of hair. There wasn't exactly a lot of hair. And start then, and then you get a nice head start then. Yeah, I've been trying to follow that kind of all day, actually, the perseverance thing. But without actually focusing on it. I've just kind of had the video in the corner and I kept waiting to see a countdown or something. And when I stopped looking at it, they fucking land the bloody thing. So pain in the ass. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well this Thursday. It's Cecconoid night. I've got the cider on. We're getting back to the drinks now. Gonna take it easy. And I'm gonna drink this weekend. I'm gonna do the Mega 65 one. I'm gonna drink it with Coke. So I'm gonna do the old German kind of cocktail. I forget what it's called, but I'm gonna do that this weekend just to kind of slow down how much I'm drinking. I'm drinking far too much, so is deadline the end of the month? Yes. Deadline for the basic is a week on Saturday. Yeah, so it needs to be ready kind of round about the mid. I think I put 2 p.m. on the Saturday, just to give me time to look over them all. No, Saturday. I as long as I've got them a couple of hours before the stream, just to make sure that they load, and I can have a quick look at them. I think it's 2 p.m. I said. Yeah, 27th at 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. UK time. You won't finish your Clone of Duty Nukem 3D. I thank you for the host as well, Andy. I missed that. Thank you. Yeah. You have to make me type it in. That will not be happening. So there is there's a quite a cool kind of intermediary language called 11 that somebody's been working on. And it's kind of like it outputs basic programs, but it's kind of more. It doesn't have line numbers and things like that. It's more of a traditional kind of modern programming language than a basic language. So that may be something we do in the future. But if we do that, I'd like to get to the point where we can use the newer ROMs. So it won't be straight away. The next challenge is just going to be a C64 challenge. I'll tell you that now. To give the emulator guys some time to catch up with the stuff you guys have been reporting, and I can work on kind of seeing how well you guys have done with this, and deciding how to approach the next one, because I think I would like to do a Mega 65 assembly challenge at some point, because I know Twilight's been doing some stuff in the demos kind of stuff in the emulator, and it's been working quite well. So that's quite likely to happen at some point. Must have hoping was on that then. Well, they've already got a board, so it's I'm not gonna send them another board. Perfectly welcome to enter, but not I'm not that wouldn't be a winning entry. And if it is an assembly language thing, it'll be like the basic one. It will just be you have to make something to enter. So it won't be winner takes all. That I'm going to save those for the C64 kind of optimization challenges. I'm trying to work out how to do the next one, because I want to make it a cycles challenge, but I also want it to kind of be a size challenge as well. So I'm trying to work out a scoring system that will combine the number of bytes and the number of cycles to produce a score. I'll talk to you closer to the time on that. It'll be well 2 weeks time or so when I announce that one. I've got an idea for what I want to do. Quite a simple challenge, kind of like the spiral in a way. Um, if anything, a bit simpler. Okay, let's crack on then. Hey Sean, how you doing? And hey Microman as well. Welcome. Okay, so tonight I'm not exactly sure what I wanted to do tonight. So I'll start by showing you what I've done with the lasers. So I have tidied up the laser code a little bit. I didn't do very much. I just cleared it. Oh, well, actually, let me add points to you all. Start the races. Where's the button? There it is. Oh, NES game. This game always good. So that should be pause. God damn you! There we go. I want to see what this game is before I continue. God, no idea. Oh, of course. God damn it! Who got that? Steps, nice. Oh, Mr. G got it actually. Mr. G must have done it on a. Ikari Warriors is a great game actually. I I, I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I prefer it to Commando. I think it's a better game myself. Commando's great for the music, but I think Ikari Warriors is better. My personal opinion. Cool. I'm glad somebody agrees. I thought it was going to be an unpopular opinion. Commando remake. That's the new one, isn't it? That Nostalgia did with the fixes to the multiplex and stuff. I think it has some extra levels in it as well, didn't? Yeah, two player Ikari Warrior. I think that's why I liked it a lot because I used to play it 2 players with my friends back when I had friends and I could go outside and stuff. Okay, right. So what I've done, I did a little bit of optimization. Is the main thing that I did with this. Let me just turn. So first of all, I need to turn the sound off because I've done some. I've done some video recording from this, which for some reason always turns on the sound. So I did some optimization around some of the routines. So the particle routine is slightly more optimal now. I've realized that I can make it dynamic as well. So I can adjust the number of particles or sprites that get multiplexed on a screen. So those have all been kind of optimized now. And this means that there's less kind of flashing at the top of the screen when things are going on up here. Then that meant that this laser was easy to fix. And so now the laser's kind of working perfectly as well. So one thing I was considering doing tonight was doing the collision with the background here, and making this, making the laser hit the edges and show the sparks. But I realize this is probably something that's going to be a hard coded table of kind of values rather than a collision. So it's just going to be for every angle that this is at, it's going to say when to stop drawing the sprites and where the particle effect should emanate from. And the reason I'm not going to do that now is because that's going to change depending on how this level it gets really. I mean, it may be that this stays exactly the same, but it may be that it gets changed ever so slightly. So I'm not going to do anything like that right now. It's going to be a quick thing to do anyway, so it's not too bad. The other thing I probably want to do is just move this down by 1 or 2 pixels, so it's not coming straight out of here, but there's a tiny gap. And the reason being is because it means it will touch the floor here as well. There'll be the same kind of gap, so I don't have to add 1 extra sprite in here just for the sake of this floor piece. It's just drawing to 1 sprite, so you can kind of see when it gets to the end here. Actually, you see there? I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see where the sprite disconnect actually happens here. So I'm only drawing the line through 1 sprite, and then I'm just copying that sprite down the screen. And so that creates this kind of laser beam effect, and because it's a sprite, it's not going to be affected by anything else, any kind of clash in the background or anything. Thanks for the follow, duck butter. I like that, duck butter 0. Oh, is the mug a big mug? Is it like slightly bigger than a usual mug? Because that's the case, I might get one myself. I did do a slight redesign on the mug as well, so apologies to those who've already got one. But the new one, because I don't know if it's actually printed "Praise be the Spiral" at the bottom, but in white on the mugs that exist already. But because it's white, you wouldn't see it anyway. So what I've done is extend the picture a little bit, so it fills the height of the mug a bit better. Oh, you thought it was a sports store? Oh, right, it's that big. Okay, cool. Oh, I might have to get one of them then. I do like a big mug for my coffee. Although it take forever to fill my coffee machine. That's fine. So there's a couple of things that we could do tonight, but I think what I'm going to do is the swarm. So there are 2 places in the game where there is a swarm. It's a tall mug rather than a wide one like a sports dog. Okay, so it's okay. I might get one anyway. So let me see if I can find a picture of this swarm. Actually, I'll tell you what I can do. I have already got this. Just put that there, and then I can just look through it easily without worrying what I'm going to show. Okay, so what I have is actually Andy playing this, the original one. So you can see all the different areas. So actually my laser is probably, let's have a look. Yeah, it's probably about right in terms of how far it's going. Maybe a little bit less. I can probably tone it down ever so slightly, 1 or 2 lines. Get rid of that disconnect. So that's good. So this is when I had a session with Andy Roberts to go through how the game works. He played through a lot of the game. I just want to go through some of the areas. So there's this area, which is like a Robotron kind of area. Once you go through here, as you'll see in a second, the door locks behind. So that's a feature we don't have yet, these locking doors. So if I just do that again, you'll see how the door it animates closed. So that would be an interesting thing we need to implement. But it is kept fairly standard. There's a couple of places where these doors are, not that many actually, but there's a few places where they are. So that's one thing we could do. Then there's this Robotron thing. So you can see how it spawns 8 things. Now this isn't a problem for a multiplexer, but watch what happens. Actually, I mean, it's got the mace, so it's not going to happen that quickly, but it keeps spawning 8 things at a time, but they appear relatively quickly, although he's doing really well so that he's blasting them all. But it's possible if you don't do anything that they all appear. So this is one system I want to kind of look at. Hey, Fry Sprites. How you doing? Well. There's these falling crates as well. This may be something that I change so it just appears on the floor, but with an effect. So you'll see when it falls. I mean, I could do it with sprites still, and then make the crate appear on the floor. But yeah, it needs to feel like a reward. This screen is kind of like almost like a mini game. But the effect of this room, I believe, is that I think it just gives you a bonus. I think it's just a bonus in this screen. I don't think it has any further effect on the game. Because I think to open that door up there is the switch up the top. Hang on, let me have a look. See what happens. My circle, the one that goes round the the thing. Let's have a look. Actually, it's also buggy the one I've got, but yeah, it's quite easy to do that. I do need to implement better Starfield here, but that's fine. I've got the systems I need for that. Oh, that's all right. It's close enough, I think. It has got that decal issue, but that's fine. I'll come to that at a later date. Oh, yeah. So you have to shoot this to open this door here. Yeah, so that opens this door here. Again, fine. That's just another door system. But the bit I'm interested in is not this bit. This bit here. So you can see this swarm of objects that flies around. And I mean, obviously, this is going to be quite difficult to do in any in any kind of standard way. This is going to be quite difficult to do. But I have a plan for this. So you'll notice two things about this. Firstly, that the swarm always kind of, it's a swarm. It's like a flock of birds. It uses a flocking behavior, and it kind of stays relatively close together. And the second is that they all change color at the same time. So if they go red, they all go red at the same time. And if they go white, they all go white at the same time. So we're not going to be able to do this exactly like this, because obviously this is going to be what, 50 or 60 little tiny objects flying around. We do have a particle system, but it's a single pixel particle, so that's going to be difficult to implement. We do have a multiplexer, but there's no way it's going to be able to multiplex this many, and you can see definitely more than 8 on a line in many of these. However, what it will be able to do is combine, say, 3 of these into one sprite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some liberties with the look of it, and I'm going to create basically sprite objects that contain 3 of these shapes inside each sprite. And then I'm going to have a small animation, maybe of them rotating around each other or something. So there's maybe a 5 or 6 frame animation of these 3 kind of moving around each other. Then I'm going to copy that animation, and I'm going to remove one of them, because later on you can shoot all of these as well. So I'm going to remove one of them, so then it's 2 sprites moving around, and then I'm going to take that and remove one, so it's 1 sprite moving around. So we'll end up with like a 20 frame animation, but that can be loaded in per screen, so we don't have to have it in sprite memory all the time. We can just load it in on this particular screen or on the other screen, which is much later on. But it will just load these 20 frames in, and then all we have to do is create a flock of maybe, let's say 16 objects in this flock, and each one of these 16 objects has 3 of these things, and then we can create a flock between them. So that will mean that we'll have 48 of these things flying around. Now, how many do we actually have here? So let's see if I can count. 6, 10, 16, 21, 25, 30, 34. I mean, it looks like about 64, I'd say. So if we could manage to do 20, then that would be pretty good. And because they're multiplexed, all we really need to worry about is how many we have on a line. Now, if they use a flocking algorithm, the way this will work is we'll have a flock leader, which will be somewhere in the middle. And each frame, the flock leader will just will move within its area. So if we look at this animation, you imagine this block in the middle is the flock leader. It's not really moving a lot. It's moving a little bit, but it's not moving a lot. But the flock leader is the one that decides where the flock goes, and that's just going to be somewhere in the middle, and they're all just going to that particular sprite is just going to move around in the middle a little bit. Is the stream seems to be working? Yeah, it must be having. It's not going to be able to hear me if it's having problems. So yeah, the flock leader is going to move around, and the way a flocking algorithm works is well, actually, there's 2 ways. There's one way where you just have a collective mind, which is where every flock member looks at every other flock member and makes its decision based on the position of the flock members around it, or we can have one based on leaders. And the way the way the leader one works is a little bit more efficient for what we want to do. So what I'm going to do is this leader's going to kind of move around in a kind of slightly random pattern in the middle, quite slowly, but just a random kind of area around here. It's just going to move around, maybe bounce off of its kind of its area or whatever. And then every other flock member, so the other 19 flock members, are going to first of all, am I too far away um, from the flock leader? So if it's far away from the flock leader, then it moves towards the flock leader, and that's where I want to. That tells it I want to move to this position closer to the flock leader. But then it also has to check around itself, so it checks around its local area, and if it's too close to another flock member, then it moves away from those. So you get a kind of you get an attraction to the middle, but like a repel from each other, and it should create this effect. It should look a bit like this. Maybe not exactly, but it should look fairly similar. Thanks, Vice Sprites. Very much appreciated. Goes towards the cider and the stuff. I did consider doing a few variations on the mug with like 51 bytes, 53 bytes, with the top kind of few in. But I mean, for a start, I've thought about it after Andy's already bought one. So that kind of defeats the object of that one. But yeah, yeah, it would be the 53 would be the best. 51 would be the best mug. I'd buy. She needs to know, right? She needs to know 53. So anyway, I think maybe we'll have a go at this tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put for now I'm going to put the sprites into the sprite banks. If we need to free up room in the sprite banks, then these can be moved out on the fly, because there's no harm in moving any of these things out on the fly into cartridge memory. Moving them into cartridge memory and loading them in from cartridge memory on the fly. But for now, I'll put them in. It is going to probably be. I'm going to say 18 frames. I'm going to do 6 frames of each one of each group, and we're going to use those. And then basically these are gonna float around each other, and they're going to play the animation, and the animation can change directions at any time as well. So they may just be rotating around each other like that in a single sprite, but at any point the animation can decide to play the other way as well. So we can kind of vary up a little bit. Thank you very much for the sub, DHAF. Very much appreciated. Oh God, pardon me. God, I can tell I've not had cider for a few days. I was going to say for ages, then I realised it's not been ages. It's been a few days, like what, a week. Such a lightweight. Right. So let's have a go at that then. I think that we'll do this one. And the reason I think it's good to get this done now is because it's one of the kind of major components of the game, which kind of needs a bit of work. There's this screen as well. This is going to be fun. So this is another laser screen, but you can see now that there's many more lasers. Now, one thing I've already thought about for this is you can see how these lasers are not parallel. So I could make these parallel, which would be one trick to save stuff on here, which means for the majority of this laser and this laser, they can share the same sprite all the way along. And same for these ones as well. And then the multiplex would handle kind of the crossovers and stuff. The other option is to reduce the number of lasers on this screen to 3 or 2. Yeah, let's go through some of the screens actually. Show you the challenges we've got. So let's just go back a little bit. Is there any other? So there's these as well. These kind of block the way. These can be done with chars. These are quite simple. And I'm just going to use a shuffle routine here. So there's going to be a little static pattern that fills maybe 3 chars. It's going to be filled in randomly when you enter the screen. And then it's just going to randomly shuffle that pattern as we go along. There's these turrets here. what we need to do. They're going to be quite simple. It's just an enemy type. That this it can be chars. These bits can be chars, and just be a tiny sprite on top of them. Try to skip through this quickly and show you. See, here's those beams again. They probably wouldn't fade out quite like this, but thanks for the hosting, though. Appreciated. You can see we've got a maskable area here, but that's quite small, so we might have to use some trickery to make this bit work. I mean, you can see how we need that. We've got another barrier here, 2 more of these. So yeah, nothing major in that area. This is going to be a fun bit. These you need to go behind these. So these need maskable areas, but they're going to be really thin. So there's probably going to be an update to the maskable area that allows us to create a thinner mask for certain areas, because you need to go behind these as well. So that's a fun one. There's going to be some enemy sprites as well, like these. Okay, skip through. See another door there as well. Again, more enemy sprites. You know, different types. Everything else is fairly. Oh, we've got a cannon here as well. Again, more passable areas. That's a passable area there that you can go through. I don't want to show too much because I don't want to show some of the secrets. Let's keep some of the secrets. Although I am going to be doing these on streams, so it's not that they're going to be much to it. Oh, these mines. So we've already got these mines, but we need to do a move-in version of them with sprites as well. So it's going to be another fun exercise there. More maskable areas, more beams, lasers. Let's have a look. Yeah, more sprites. Again, I don't see anything that's too problematic here. A lot of this is really just waiting for Andy to build the levels. So there's things like this where the like mini swarms of slightly larger elements, as you'll see on this next screen, but nothing that couldn't just be done with a standard multiplex. I don't think there's anything particularly special about it. So you watch as it come on here. You see, there's quite a few of them. They move towards it. But thankfully, the way the game has been set up is we can treat each screen like its own little program and do what we want on it. Okay, again, not really much to say on the screen. It's just busy. That's all, really. I think you could go through that thing in the middle. Yeah, so there's a maskable area in the middle there. Another Robotron area. This is a little bit more hectic than the last one. That's what that was about. Try and find the other. There's another swarms. Here, yeah, here we go. Here's where you come back up into this room. So this is the same swarm from the beginning, but now it chases you around the room, which is why we need the flocking behavior. So at this point, the leader is now trying to attack you all the time, but now you can also hit the enemies, and you can see that it's not. It doesn't have to be super accurate. You can just say if a bullet hits one of the group of 3, you can just make one of them explode. If 2 bullets hit the group of 3, you can make 2 of them explode, and so on and so on. It doesn't need to be super accurate, as long as you have a swarm that you can take down. So that's one of the swarms. You can see why it needs to have that flocking behavior. Another laser here. Nothing complicated though. Some more stuff. You see how there's a few places where we can reuse bits of code as well, which is nice. Okay, this is a fun screen as well. So this is a whole different thing I need to think about as well. So these fire off like these tracer rockets that kind of bounce around and stuff. So that's gonna be fun. Probably have to tone it down ever so slightly and probably build a char system for that or something. I'm not sure. Just trying to find the other swarm. Yeah, another little bit of stars in the middle there. Another Robotron area as well. There's a few of these. They do get increasingly more difficult as well, so you need to be careful about how those are implemented. A few multiplexer concerns on this screen. There's a lot of stuff going on down here, but I think we should be all right. This is the map he's worked on already. Yeah. Trying to find the swarm now. And then we'll go and do some swarm. So I'm doing a lot of talking. Yeah, another laser one here. So one of the things to note about this is there's always a right angle between these two lasers. So there could be something clever I can do to redraw this laser at the same time. So as I'm drawing this one, to draw this one as well. There may be something I can do here, because rotating a line 90 degrees is just a case of swapping the X and the Y's when you're drawing. So instead of advancing X by one, you advance Y by one, and vice versa. So that could be a sneaky way of drawing that quickly. Yeah, that's the fun screen with lots of laser beams and shit going on. This, you see, you can see how there's gonna have to be some compromises. This is going to be very difficult to do. There's also this key as well, but I think that'll probably just live up here somewhere. Okay, so there's this area. This is going to be quite fun. I think this shouldn't be an issue. The multiplexers should be able to handle this all right. The fun bit is going to be these in the middle. They're going to have to be done with sprites. So I have to have a think about how that's going to work. But I think this whole thing can be done with sprites anyway. So I don't see any reason why it couldn't be. We're only using 2 sprites to do the player and the mace that flies around. So that means we can do 6 in a line. So if you imagine at this point here, that point there, as long as this row of stuff here can be done in 6 sprites, then it should work. And I think that's fine. We're not doing anything else on this screen, so we can just up the multiplexer limit on this screen and draw that. So I think that's going to be a fun screen to do. It's probably one we'll do at some point soon, because I think this is probably one of the last semi-difficult kind of challenges to do with the coding, but not hard. I think we can do it. Quiz Luma. That's a good point. Actually, I've not put any of the any modern games into there yet. What is that? It does look a bit Luma-ish, doesn't it? It's got the right colours in it anyway. Atomino. Okay. Can't say I've ever heard of it. I've heard of Atomics and I've heard of Emotion. Yeah, I've got another one of these screens here with stuff flying around. These just fire off shitloads of bullets everywhere, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see the swarm. There's another swarm somewhere, which is what we're going to work on now. Might be at that screen, actually. Let me go back. Oh, it's there. There you go. So as soon as you go into this screen, there's a swarm. So again, same sort of thing. So we can reuse the code for that and just make it spawn on this screen. So I think that's what we're going to do now. I think we're going to take a look at trying to make this this swarm work. So what that means I need to do, first of all, is I need to find the actual assets for that screen. Yeah, I was looking at sprite packing for the C64, so I'm going to do for Mega 65 based on something Monsters Go Boom was saying today. Do some kind of unpacked on the fly sprites. So if I can get it to work, I've got some ideas of what to do. I was trying to find if there was a kind of common method for doing it, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Sprites take up so much memory on the Mega 65, and I want so many frames as well. Raw assets, sprites. Wait, that's do with the actual sprite sheet. That would be better. Textures, maybe. Okay. Yeah, this is one. Okay. Copy image. There we go. I'm just going to put a purple background in this as well. Just something to make it stand out. Let's go with a purplish background. All right. So what I'm looking for is the two tiny little things that make up the swarm. They're very small. They're like about 8 pixels by 8 pixels. So I'm hoping they're in here. I'm not seeing them though. Could it be that? No, it's not that. Oh, maybe it's not in this slot. Maybe I have to find it somewhere else. I mean, that's close, but that's not it. Maybe I'm going to have to go and find it somewhere else. Maybe it's not in that lot. Well, that's just warning, so it's not that. ISK. No, that's loading screens and such. Okay, it doesn't appear to be in that lot. If it says swarm in here, no, it doesn't say swarm. All right, gonna have to go and have a look at some screenshots. I think. I'll see if I can find some screenshots of what we need. So we're looking for that swarm. There's got to be a picture of that somewhere in here. The reason I'm looking under screenshots because if I can find a screenshot, I can just drop it into the editor and it doesn't show, does it? Make it easy to find. I just need to find what pattern it is. So come on, I know you're going to be in here somewhere. It's not though, is it? Oh, damn you. All right. Let's go through the video then. Oh, maybe I did have that. They're quite simple patterns. Oh no. Well, either way, I can draw them. They're super simple. So it looks like there is 3 types here. Well, actually 4, but let's just go with 3. I don't know if they animate or... Oh, they do. Okay. Okay, that's going to be fun. So they animate between a few different frames. So let's try and capture one of them in our sprites and then go from there. So I'm going to put them here. And as I say, we have this many sprites. If we start running out of room here, we can start moving some of the more screen-specific things like these swarms into other... into the into the cartridge RAM. I think once we get to maybe around about here, this point here, we're going to save these as things that are loaded in dynamically. This like last, what would it be, like 40 sprites or so, because we've got like the turning wheel and things like that. They're going to have to be loaded in dynamically. It may be that every sprite beyond a certain position gets loaded in dynamically, but let's start by just drawing them first. So first of all, let's just draw the actual shapes, and then from there we'll work out how to make these animate around each other or whatever. So that's going to be one shape. I'm going to do them as separate sprites for now, and then underneath I'll do individual ones, so I can see them animate basically. So then there's one where it's just like this. And then there's one where it's like an arrow. You see how they're really, really tiny, so it really doesn't need to be much. I'm going to go with 4 frames on this, and we're going to have them move around each other to create these patterns, hopefully. Okay, that should be enough. So this is what the animation currently is. Let me see the animation. How do I send that to animation now? How does that work then? Oh, there we go, to animation. So you can see that, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell on here, but it is literally just kind of rotating around. And is there any way to make that bigger? No. So we need to turn this into a animation where they're rotating around each other. So Ghostbusters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create just one frame of them together, three things together first. So I'm going to start with this in the top, and I'm going to put that kind of slap bang in the middle, as close to that as I can get it. That'll do. And then I'm going to draw these other shapes around it. And then I'm going to have these shapes move around each other in a relatively repeating pattern. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this over to this side a little bit and change it to something else. So change it to this one. I'm going to move this one down to here, change it to that one. It might not need that many frames actually. So if I try and animate that now, how does that look? Where's my animation? Oh, you see, now it's only needed 3 frames to do that. So what I might do is make some intermediary frames where they go out and in a little bit, to make it 6 frames. So if I just extend these out a little bit like that, and then just move these out a little bit. So I'm going to keep the same pattern, but I'm going to move them outwards. And then on this one, I'm going to move them inwards a little bit. I finally finished watching Final Space, and now I'm upset I haven't got any more to watch. But I have started watching season 2 of Orville, which is nice. I think it's really improved in this season as well. I think, oh, damn it. Oh, wait, that was right, wasn't it? I've added 2 many. Oh, shit, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, I really quite like the new season of Orville. I think it's getting a yeah, the chuckity puck. Chuckity puck puck. I like the fact that it only ever says Mooncake only ever says chickadee or chickadee puck puck, but everybody knows exactly what he means. Yeah, it does need a few less Bortus-centric episodes. Also, the Bortus ones are ridiculous as well. I get that it's supposed to be a comedy thing, but it's a little bit over the top, I think. Especially the porn addiction one was ridiculous. Um, if anything, I just felt uncomfortable watching it. It wasn't that funny to watch. It was just uncomfortable. Yeah, Final Space. Yeah, chuckity puck. Okay, let's have a look at that. Okay, that's kind of cool. I think maybe the last frame is unnecessary. Thanks for the bits, Emma. Cheers. Yeah, I think that's enough actually. So if you imagine a few of these and they can reverse direction as well, then that means basically we only need another 10 frames. So 15 frames gives us this entire swarm basically. But yeah, thank you for the bits, Emma. Very much appreciated. Oh, I missed a bit of my beard here. I have as well. Got a little bit of an extra. You can see that. It's been a long time since I've been to a barber and had my hair done. I've just been in the mirror with a South Park. Yeah, I finished watching South Park as well, so I watched the rest of finished watching the rest of season, is it 23 or whatever it's on. So I'm kind of pleased with that. South Park needs a little bit less Tegrity Farms. I mean, I get it. It's fun. It's fun that Randy's become a weed farmer, but it's just a little bit over the top now. It focuses on it way too much, in my opinion. Yeah, it is. It's good, but it's a joke that they've stretched out a little bit too much. They're not putting quite as much effort into the storylines because of it. They're just falling back on that. I think sometimes. Not to say it isn't great. It is funny. It's funny as hell, but I think they just need to kind of hopefully do a little bit more. But I think they've kind of done this for a while, haven't they? The last couple of seasons, they've kind of themed each season. Um, I tell you what I did like about the this season is every um the start of every episode sounds like an episode of Seinfeld. Seinfeld. They've just kind of they've got that music, that kind of sitcom music as it starts the episode. I find that really funny. Hey, Chromus. uh, I want me to build a shitty wall. I like it when in this latest season. Oh, I forget what he's asked to do. Uh, Somebody wants to buy the restaurant, the Chinese restaurant. I can't remember who it is. And he's going through like, so you want me to call it this shitty rice or this shitty noodles? I can't remember what it was now. God damn it, my memory's terrible nowadays. And I'll say it again, Dead Pixels. For those who haven't already seen it, watch Dead Pixels. It's great. If you've ever played an MMO in your life, watch Dead Pixels. It will make a lot of sense to you. A lot of sense. Oh man, the Guild was very. It's kind of like a British version of the Guild. Very similar kind of concept to it. Very similar concept to it. Um, but with the much more sarcastic kind of dry British humor than the kind of American humor. But similar, very similar concept. So, um, but no Will Wheaton and no Felicity Day. So, but you do get you do get I can't remember what the fucking hell, what's the guy called? There's a really dumb guy in it. He's hilarious. He cracks me up. Oh, he's called Russell. That's it. And he's just like he's complete noob at the game, but he's just really funny to watch. He's a very kind of funny character. Okay, so we're going to go with these five. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these into the next frame like this, and I'm just going to delete one from each one. So following it round. Oh no, it actually needs to change a little bit because it needs to rotate. Okay, so let's just change this up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, Dead Pixels, yeah. Guild it is really honestly just a modern version of the Guild. It's you can tell they've taken their cues from that thing. It's a British, slightly more modern version of the Guild. But very good still. Definitely worth a watch. Actually then this needs to be a little bit different, I think. This isn't moving quick enough, so that needs to be there, that needs to be there. Is anybody going to be playing Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection on the Switch? That looks really interesting. It looks quite faithful to the game in terms of play style, but with a really nice modern look to it. Too poor. Looks really good. I've never been good at that game anyway. I think it's really hard, but I'm very intrigued by the look of it. I think it does look kind of cool and interesting. Um, so this one also needs to do a rotate thing. I need to slow this down. Yes, kind of like this, but with less of a jump at the end. This probably needs to be Honestly, out of all the games they showed, that really was the only one that interested me. There's really not many games they showed yesterday that interested me at all, which is a bit of a shame, really. I need to repeat one of these patterns. I'm going to do it here. Oh my god, who picked this? I've only just realised. Yeah, that'll do. You see now it's just so actually it would only be 11 frames because the last one can just no, it would just be one of these patterns repeat, right? Oh, fuck's sake, this tune. There we go. So that is basically the final version of it. So it's going to go through a few stages here. So this will be the first stage, which is this one here. Kind of hard to see on here, but let's try and make it so you can see it a little bit at least. You can kind of just about see a pattern on the screen. It's very small though. Then that will transition into this once one is shot. So it goes from these three into these two. And then when you shoot it again, transition into this last one here. Which you really can't see, so it'd be good if we put it on the screen. I do have the power to skip it, yeah. But Salmiakki. Oh, really? Interesting. Biggest upset lately was Turrican. It's I mean, remastered is a stretch. To me, it looked like they just emulated it on modern devices. That was it. It doesn't look remastered really. Yeah, the hype around that was so big. I thought it was going to be a new Turrican game. And to be honest, Turrican for me ended at Turrican 2. There wasn't Turrican 3 doesn't count. Turrican 3 is not a Turrican game in my eyes. Not a traditional Turrican game. It's Salmiak licorice. Yeah, it's the salted licorice. I think I've given you some before. Yeah, the one for PS4 and Switch. Yeah, it just seems to be all the original versions of the game, kind of for various systems, compiled into one kind of emulated package or something. I assume it's emulated. I don't know, but you're not a mank anymore, Sean. You moved down. How old were you? Yeah, you've lived half of your life down south now, so I wouldn't call you mank anymore. You got the taste, but still, yeah. Yeah, licorice is awesome, and salty licorice is the best as well. The great thing when you buy, so I always do this whenever I go to Sweden or Finland. I think they have it in Denmark as well. I'll always buy some of the sweets that come with the saltish licorice. So, like, you get Haribo's over here, you get Haribo's with salted licorice in over there. So I'll always buy some of that to take into the office because I can guarantee if I put that on my desk, nobody will eat the salted licorice, or they'll be curious and they'll eat one and they'll never touch it ever again. And it just means I get more, so it's great. It's just an excuse to just have all the salted licorice to myself. I could be really cruel and buy nothing but salted licorice, but I'm not going to do that. That's super cruel. Right, okay, we'll go with that. So this is my plan to use these three now. It is, how many frames is that? It's 5, 10, 14 frames. I like the sweet licorice more than the salty licorice. I guess I'm an odd fin. Oh, you are. You need to give up your fin license. I'll take it. I'll take it. Next, you'll be telling me you don't like freaking heavy metal. Like, the three things I think Finnish people have to like in order to be truly Finnish is four things actually: uh, salted licorice, coffee, heavy metal, and naked saunas. If you can do all four of them, then you're truly Finnish. No, that's Surströmming is Swedish, isn't it? And I don't even think the Swedes like that. I think it's yeah. I thought coffee was quite a Finnish thing as well. The Finns really like their coffee. Maybe it's just my opinion of what I've seen in general in Finland. It's like everywhere you go, there's like 3 or 4 freaking coffee shops. Even in the smallest of little towns, there's little coffee shops. And Helsinki is ridiculous. There's like 3 on every freaking every block. But they do nice coffee. So, um, all right, let's save out these sprites. Let's save the project first. What's Marmy? Hey, Cosmin. I'm going to kick myself. I know. I bet I've had it, whatever it is, or I bet I know of it, but I can't remember what it is. I've definitely seen the word. It'll tell me in a minute, I'm sure. Right. I'm in the right folder here. Yeah. Good night, Sean. Uh, oh, it literally looks like shit. Well, I can't say I've ever had that actually. But then, if you're talking food, I mean, there's lots of very Finnish food that I don't think you're going to get in many other places. Like reindeer is one I think is very Finnish. I mean, I'm sure you can get it in Norway, and I'm sure you can get it in Sweden as well. But I think it's like the Finnish really like it. Rudolph steak, yeah, uh, and also lohi kaito. The salmon soup is really nice. I would have thought something fishy, yeah. Salmon soup, or well, they use Arctic char actually, I think, for it mostly. But it's like it's potatoes, salmon, leek, and cream, and it's freaking delicious. It's my favorite soup. Okay, right, that's all of those in place. Right, let's export this. Fish. Not that one. I think I've just created an extra thing there, but whatever. Right, let's go ahead and add this in. So this is going to be on screen 8. So let me just check that we actually have that screen. I think we do. Shan is, I do like Finland's my favorite country. It is my favorite country. I love it. The people are really friendly. The music's freaking awesome. It's got the best kind of combination of kind of beautiful lakes and forests and stuff, but also you've also got in winter it just becomes a winter wonderland, and it's beautiful. It's brilliant. I love it. And they have Nightwish as well. You can't argue with Nightwish. Yeah, okay, so we've got this screen. So we're going to put it on this screen. This is screen 8. I don't think we have anything for this. Do they have Yaya? Play Yaya Ding Dong. That's Iceland. uh, I do like the rye bread as well, like the black rye bread that you get served in restaurants in Finland as well. The country where I quite want to be. Interestingly, Finland doesn't have any mountains. They did have one, and they gave it to Norway. Oh no, they didn't. No, they have got one now. I think Norway gave them one. I think that's the way around. It didn't used to have any mountains. Um, just big hills. I think Norway gifted them a mountain recently. I think that's right. I'm sure Acmefin can confirm, or someone from Finland can confirm. So while they do have kind of big hills, I don't think they have anything that was classed as a mountain until Norway gifted them one. Norway felt sorry for them. Like they give us the peak of the highest hill, yeah, something like that. I knew it was something like that. Just lied, and did they not give it you? Is it still not counted as a? They didn't. Oh yeah, the lumberjack song, yeah. Oh dear, Cosmin. I really need a badumts button. Shipping would have costed it. Oh, it was flat pack. It's a flat pack mountain. They borrowed some techniques from Sweden. Oh, it is the Finland song, Monty Python Finland song. Why was I thinking lumberjack song? All right, let's add this in. Okay, so we've got screen data here for everything. There's nothing for screen 8. Well, there should be something for screen 8 here, but it's probably not got much in it in terms of persistent assets. No, there is no persistent asset for screen 8. That's fine. There is nothing persistent in this screen anyway. But we will need to add into the loader screen 8 in here. Actually, where is this all loading into memory at the moment? How are we doing for memory? Okay, so we've still got round about 9K or so before we start encroaching on screen area. I think, what is this? This is, yeah, okay. So because, oh no, we've not, because it's less than that. Our screen actually our data actually starts being used at 7,000 something. So uh, good night, Five Sprites. Take care. Thanks for joining the stream. Okay, so we need to add a screen 8 in. So I'm just going to take the screen 7 as a template. Gonna. Oh, I thought it was a duplicate, but there isn't. Fine, I'm going to take one of the lesser setup ones. This one I'll do. And in the containing folder, just going to duplicate it, screen A. Okay, so we've got a screen 8 in here, which has got a very basic setup at the moment. So what it's going to do right now is it's going to create. Do we have an empty URL? Yeah, by FF. Okay. So we just need to put byte FF in here. So it's going to create a duplicate of the first screen, but without any of the persist data in here. So we need to trim this down so it's just the standard screen. And then we need to look at how we initialize the laser. We've got a laser in it, laser update. Probably need a laser remove here. I'll worry about that in a minute though. Thanks for the follow, Harry Kipper. That's a funny name. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Okay. This is kind of common across all screens. I'm wondering if this should just be in the screen exit. I'm going to leave it there for now, but I'm wondering if they should be just in the global exit thing. Probably should. Wow, thanks for the gift sub to C64 Mark. Thank you, Andy. Appreciated very, very much. I shall drink more cider to that. The shout I didn't know I had. Okay, so there's no passable areas in here. And we are going to create some stuff here, but we're not going to use the standard cell for this. So let me just create empty routines here for these. And I'm going to create another sort of layout, take 2 columns in. I move this. Actually, I'm going to leave that one there because that's kind of my base. And then I'm going to create a swarm thing in here. Now, where am I putting things? Particles. No, sprites. Yes, I'm going to put it in this section because it's a sprite based effect. So I'm going to create a new thing. I'm going to call it swarm. So that's going to have to be loaded in. And this is going to need an init and an update, much like the other one. So let's create an init in here. And then an update. And that means in here we can do init. Update. Okay. And so we can do all our swarm control in here. That makes this quite small. What I need to try and do is I need to probably for the next stream is make a map of where everything is in memory. Because there is some stuff like the buffer for loading in screen data is kind of around 7,000 or so. I need to find out exactly where that is and where I can write. The screen macros themselves live up at 8,000, which actually it doesn't show on here, but they do live at 8,000. It says 5,000 here, but they're not. Oh no, that's the screen macros. But the actual screen data itself is here. It loads in at 8,000. And then this is the vectors for screen. Oh, this is at this location here. So actually, we've got quite a chunk up here. We've got maybe 16K for screen data. So we can maybe move some stuff like swarm and stuff into this location here if we need to. But it'd be good to have this written down somewhere. So I've got a target between streams. So let's catch up with the chat a little bit. Where's my inhaler? There it is. Okay, so we're loading the screen stuff in, which is this one here, which I've copied to the wrong freaking file. Okay, let's copy that in here. Oh, wait, what? What have I done here? Let's undo all of that. That's better. Drew it in the wrong place. Okay, that's fine now. Discovered my first white hair. 2021 is just as well as 2020. Oh my god! Just don't even. I remember it wasn't that long ago I discovered my first grey hairs, and they were in my beard as well. They were like in my mustache when it was growing out, and sometimes at the sides here, little bits. I'd already started receding quite a lot at that time, but I still had already. I probably had twice as much hair on the top of my head as I do now, which is not saying very much. So it's probably more than twice, because now I've only got like a few tiny strands of hair in the middle. But I remember seeing that thinking, "Oh my god, this is terrible." And now it's like most of my beard hair is grey now. I don't. The top, this hair here isn't too bad. It started greying at the sides a little bit more, um, but the majority of this stuff here on the sides is quite brown. But the beard, my god, the beard is just grey. You can see it there. There's not much of it to see, but it is grey. So could colour it with a sharpie. If it's just one hair, yeah, Cosmin, just colour it in. Just colour it in and pretend you didn't see it. I saw it at Christmas. Yeah, to be honest, it was roughly the same yesterday. Well, today actually. So it takes about 8 weeks for it to grow that long and that kind of that bushy. So pulled out, it was half white, half brown, so like a spiral. don't say don't say spiral, you'll trigger everybody. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is we need to import this file. So in our game loader, which is this one here, need to import that. So yeah, as I say, I think I'm going to move some of these into the screen area as we go. Again, there's nothing stopping us loading in certain blocks of code. So it may be something like the swarm code and the laser code, we can keep that in cartridge banks and load that in as we need it. So there could be an area of dynamic memory that we reserve. So it's just like 4K of memory that we reserve for loading in on the fly, code on the fly. For now, though, I'm just going to pile it all in until we start running out of room, and then I'm going to start worrying about that. So this is Swarm, and this is let's keep it all together. Let's keep the sprite stuff together, which is up here. There's other things as well that we can move. So, for instance, we've got tables, and we've got a lot of stuff that's used all the time, which could probably be moved down into the lower area of memory. You notice we're not using anything very low down. We've reserved some for music, but I don't think there's anything very low down in memory. So there's also space down there that we can use. Some of it is used for the loader, but not very much. Maybe like 256 bytes or something. Cool. There's so much shit on my phone here. Oh, United won 4-0. That's good. United. I'm sure nobody cares about that, but I do. Leeds United. How dare you? How dare you? Liverpool United. Oh my god. Out. Get out. Here's to everybody who no longer has any hair. Thanks, Cosmin. To the hairs you've lost and the hairs you'll lose. Yes. Cheers. If I didn't have a nice keyboard on my desk, I'd pour one out for the hairs that I've lost. I'm definitely in the second half of hair loss now. I think I've lost more than I have left to lose. Considering this whole middle section of my hair to almost the back of my head is gone. I'd say that was the bulk of my hair basically gone. It's funny because you lose it up here, but then you gain it here and here, and like the middle of your back. It all starts appearing in the wrong places. Like the ear hairs really irritate me. Really irritate me. You noticed, yeah. Start teaching me how to be old. Yeah, it's just really frustrating. We're getting older. It just happens, and there's not an awful lot you can bloody do about it. All right, so we want to add some sprites. So let's go ahead and just add one sprite and make sure we can see it, and then we'll add some properties to do with the swarm, and we'll have a proper update which draws these things. So let's just test that we can see the right sprite first of all. So let's just RTS here, RTS here, and let's set these values. So I can't remember what these values are now, so I'm gonna have to go and look. Screen macros. Where are you? It's here. So screen macros. They are XY color frame. Okay, so XY color frame. So frame just needs to be one in the middle of these sprites. These sprites start at 40, I believe. I may be wrong there though. I need to look this up every single time. Where's the loading? Where's the asset loading? Is it in here? I don't think it is it? There's a... No, that's all the assets. Is it just in the... Oh, I think it's just in the loader, isn't it? Because it's loading... Yeah, so they're loading at D000. So that is 40 in terms of sprite offsets. Let's make these... Go. So this is at 33, which means this is 60, so this is 61. So let's just load in sprite 61. So this one. We'll load it in white rather than red straight away, and we'll just, yeah, that's fine. It just needs to be somewhere on the screen. And let's head to screen. Load your same game. Get rid of that one. You can't hear. So let's just load the game up and see if we can see that sprite somewhere on the screen, and then we'll work out how to do the full flocking algorithm from there. Should be pretty easy to do, I would think. Okay, it's failing. Oh, screen macros 1. Have I done something weird in here? Or have I repeated the screen macro? I bet I've imported that twice. God damn it. All right. Just close that file down as well. So if I've made a mistake in here, it's going to be a pain to work out exactly what I've just done. Sprites swarm. Screen macros. Right, well, there we go. That's the problem. I feel like I've made a mistake here now. We'll soon see because the game won't work. Did I turn the conversation away from coding and onto just by virtue of my name? Probably, as Andy says, it is very easy to turn the conversation to anything. I'm the most easily distracted dev you will ever meet. Oh, why is that not exploding? That's interesting. That has stopped. Oh shit, have I broken something on this screen? Yes, I have. Okay, that is because this is what happens when I start messing with things. I should just bloody leave things well alone. I kind of have to mess or else I can't code anything. Zork is the easiest. Yeah. Don't mention Solar or CSDB. Yeah. Or Apple. Or anything really. Anything is a viable topic. Phew, there we go. It's back again. All right, cool. We've also still not got a death routine, so we do need to add that at some point, but it's a relatively minor thing to add, so I'm not too fussed about doing that yet. Okay. Did not see anything appear on here. So I'm wondering if this is even being called. Let's take a look at the code. Init swarm init here. So we're definitely calling this. We're not seeing anything. So I wonder if the frame is right. So let's just try a different frame, see if it's just missing the details maybe. Brexit. No, do you know what? I'm not going to talk about Brexit anymore because somebody made a good point that, and I completely agree with this, right? As much as I disagree with it, I'm only half of the people that disagree with it. There's a 50% chance that anybody you're speaking to is on the other side. And so it's not, I think politics is a bad thing to talk about, and that's fine. Everybody has their reasons for doing everything, and it's fine. Everybody's allowed to do that. That's what a democracy's about. So I promise I'm not going to do that again, which I think is the right way to do it. Politics is not something you should talk about. Where's Sean? Was that a Nintendo 64 game? It's always the case. It's always the case. He goes, and then the Nintendo games come. He's missed so many Nintendo games. Okay. So this is interesting. So I'm not seeing that sprite anywhere on this screen. So now I'm thinking that this isn't actually happening. Oh, I think I know why that is the case. It's because we have screen 8 loaded in here, but we're not actually doing anything with it here. So let's just put these numbers in here so I know what they are. So this is screen 6, this is screen 12, 18, 24. And it's because here we don't actually use screen 8 code, we're using screen 0 code. So this should work now. So I'm going to put it back to 61. This I think will need to change. I don't think we're going to use this routine to add the sprite. We're going to have to use the code to generate this in a more suitable pattern. The reason being is because it's not going to be that easy to. Oh, actually, I guess we could put hard coded values for the start, but it'd be easier to do a loop. It'd be smaller anyway. I'll take a look in a minute. Let's just get it working first. And we'll see how many we can render with the multiplexer. I think the multiplexer is set up to do 24 sprites. And I would say that we probably need just 20 on this screen for the swarm. So that's probably how many I'm going to do. I'll start with 16. 16 might be enough. Bearing in mind that the screens are a bit smaller than they are on the original one. Yeah, there we go. So we can see it there. That's perfect. Okay. So with that in mind, now let's work out what data we're going to need. So let's just create an array, an object called data, or a kind of area of memory called data. What we're going to have here, first of all, we're going to have a constant, which is going to be the max swarm, and this is going to be how many objects are in the how many sprite objects are in the swarm. We're going to start at 16, but we may want to bring this and make this a bit higher. So Pretty sure Shadow made the bot 30. So I have no control over that bot. But I wouldn't put it past Stream Elements to make it like that, to discourage gambling. So what data do we need? Okay, so we need an X position. See, we can define the initial values in here. If we're clever about how we set this up, we need an X MSB. I like to give these their own single value here rather than share 8 sprites into 1 byte, just because it's 8 bytes. It's not a huge amount of space, and it just makes things a hell of a lot easier. Very well coded, excellent graphics and banging tune, or just some shite. I don't know what you want about it. Oh, we need more ST games in the quiz. It's hard to get more ST. I think I put the entire ST collection that I had in there. No, I didn't actually. I did have to trim it down because there was a lot of shit in there as well. There was a lot of stuff that looked like it could have been done on a Spectrum. It didn't look like ST at all. I'm guessing it was like shareware stuff or something. I don't know. There was a lot of crap in there that I'd never heard of. So it is curated a little bit, and I have curated it from the point of view of somebody who used an Amiga rather than a ST. So most of the games that are in the ST are games I recognize from the Amiga, with the odd game that I know was good on the ST or was exclusive to the ST. But mostly it's just an extension of the Amiga games. Let's be honest. Yeah, I think that's in there. I think Oids is in there. Okay, so we need an X position, we need a Y position. May as well copy this because I'm going to be reusing it everywhere. Then what else do we need? Okay, so we need, at the very least, we need to know how many sub-objects there are. So let's put size in. So this is obviously going to be 3, 2, 1, or 0. We can use this to work out whether the sprite should be displayed or not. So if it goes to 0, we don't bother displaying it. If it's 3, we draw the 3 block. If it's 2, we draw the 2 block. If it's 1, we draw the 1 block. We'll make the leader the first one in the list. Everything else will follow. Oh, God. Cider's giving me really kind of hiccupy. Well, not hiccupy, but kind of windy, gassiness. Yeah, so that's what size will do. Color will be a shared thing, so that will be outside of this thing, or we'll put it in at the bottom. So let's do this here. So color, this will be shared. So this is going to start at 0, 1, and it's going to flick between those. This will be frame as well. So we need to know which frame of the animation are we on, and also animation direction. So we need to know which way the animation is playing. Is it going forward? Is it going backwards? This I'm going to fill with, actually, for now, I'm just going to fill it with zeros, but we'll come back and put some default values into all of these. And in the case of this, it will be 1 or FF, so it goes forwards or backwards. That should be all we need here, because everything else is going to be based off the update. The update is going to work out which direction we need to move, and so on and so forth. The leader will always be the first one in the list, so that will start in the middle. Okay, you're gonna like this. So if we make the swarm start in the middle of the screen, so let's say it's 160 across, 100 down. This is going to display all the objects in the middle here. But what if we now add? Let's do I divided by 16 because there's going to be, well, I divided by max swarm, sorry. Times pi times 2, so that's a circle. Let's do 3 circles. Let's make it times 6. Let's times this by, so the maximum, let's make it 80, the maximum. So then it would be a radius of 260, of 160. So 3 circles, 160 is fine. So let's do that down here as well. So now it's going around in 3 circles, 160 apart. That means this can stay on 0 because we're never crossing over that boundary. 240 is the highest we go here. But now, what if we multiply this value here by this value? Can anybody tell me what this is the equation for? While you're trying to work that out, I'm going to set all these values. Hey, Scott Knows, welcome. 3, set this to 1. So they're all just going to use the same animation for now. Just going to find the add sprite. Okay, so this is going to have to be a loop here. I'm not drawing circles. Not quite, anyway. I want you to look at the formula that I've written there for the X and Y and tell me what you think it's going to draw. Yeah, Mr. D's correct. It's going to be a spiral. That's the formula for a spiral. I thought you'd like that. A proper circular one as well. None of this rectangular crap. Did anybody like the meta of the spiral being made out of @ symbols, which are kind of like spirals? I don't know if anybody saw the thing about that, but that was kind of, there was 2 reasons I did it like that. One was because I wanted it to be a very easy switch from blank space to that, so you could use logic operations on it if you wanted to, but also because it was a spiral as well. Yeah, I don't think anybody picked up on that. But that was kind of the point of it, that it looked like a spiral. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to do a loop here. So I'm going to use, damn it, still in Mega 65 mode for loops. I've got so used to using Z for loops now. And we need to run this to get the sprite. This will get us a sprite index to use. Where's the freaking get multiplexer? There we go. So it uses X. Yeah, so I can use that because it doesn't break Y. And actually, I'm going to put these in here as well. So this is the actual index that it's going to use. So that fills that value in here. We need to set the positions, but we can do that on the update. We don't need to do that on the initialization. What do we actually do? Actually, we do set the X and Y here. So all right, let's do that then. So we're going to load. So Y is our index into here, X is our index into the multiplexer. It's an initialization routine, so I don't care if it takes a whole day to do this. So let's do the whole thing. Then we need to set the color and the frame. So let's do the frame first because that's a shared thing. It goes here. And then color is just this value here, so that's quite easy. That means we don't need to do that. Hopefully that's everything. Add sprite position and color, yes. Set sprite frame. So we're setting Y pos, X pos, color, XMSB, setting the frame, and we're storing the X index here. So it should be good. And then all we need to do is increase Y, compare Y to swarm, actually not equal there. Right, okay, so that should set the entire screen up with these. Hopefully the multiplexer deals with this. We shall soon find out. What's the witch's favorite subject? Say, what happens when you anger a brain surgery? It'll give you a piece of your mind. Oh yeah, okay. So that took me ages. I think they'd already give me a piece of my mind. I couldn't quite work out what it meant by that. So what does that mean? My brain's not always on good form. Do a double helix, draw a double helix, and draw a helix instead. No, a spiral's fine. It just needs to be basically it just needs to be a clump in the middle, but a spiral will be close enough to create that clump. Once that clump is created, the flocking algorithm should take over and it should resize itself. So it only has to be roughly the right shape. And I was just about to do it with concentric circles and realized no, it's probably better if I just do it as a spiral. Um, that does not look spiral-like. In fact, it looks weird. Why is it? Uh, it's kind of going off in the weird. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Okay, I need to add some values to these. Okay, so okay, let's start by just doing 2 turns of a circle. It's a very small spiral. This is 160, but it's coming from the edge. So I'm gonna reduce this down to 60 either way. So this is now 160 is not the middle of the screen, you see. The middle of the screen is actually 184. And the middle of the screen here is 150. So if I add that to there, that's 244. So that should be a little bit better, I think. If you have to think about it, it's not funny. Yeah, indeed. The demo coder in me was just awakened. All right, come on. Oh, okay. So now we've got a multiplexer crash going on here, which means okay, let's start with a smaller number. Maybe something weird is going on with the plexer. Maybe these are probably 70 on top of that. 70 would be fine. Let's do 80 there. Okay. Trying to space things out a little bit more. I think I need to revisit the multiplexer. It's a little bit I've kind of thrown it in without really thinking too much about how it's using this game, and I think I can make it more efficient. Um, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it does that line perfectly, um, but it does have these kind of places where it can fail. Like, how is that? Oh, yeah, I see. So it's gone like that. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not 12. That's 10. Okay. Have I set? Maybe I've set the sprite limits wrong. Hang on. Why am I messing with? Because I know I've been messing with C mounted. Okay. I was messing around with stuff the other day for optimization. I may have left some of the stuff on too low. Hang on. Yeah, see, 60 multiplayer sprites. That's no good. It should be like that. Okay. Which means 16 is definitely possible. Yeah, Andy's on form with the spam. I don't know why I always grab that. Ooh, ow. Oh shit. I remember now. There's a oh, fuck. What do I need to? There's something weird I need to do here now. I remember what it is. Is it this bit here? Oh, there's something weird to do with the multiplayer. Oh, God damn it! I might have to. I know I was messing around with this, and I screwed up some stuff in the multiplayer to try and make it flexible. I think I may have broken some stuff. Yeah, there's something. What did I do? Did I do? I've forgotten what I've done. Was it the dynamic? I know I had some dynamic sprite. Yeah, there was this, but then I changed that. I changed it so it didn't need that. So coming out of the screen, clear sprites. Fuck, I wish I could remember what I did. Okay, maximally flex sprite. Uh, all right, let's just put it down to that for now. We can always work that out later. We can still get the flocking algorithm kind of work. Probably not going to finish it on this stream. I've talked too much, but I don't know why that's like that. Basically, I made some changes after the last week's stream just to optimize the game a little bit. And one of the things I did was I allowed it so that when you went from when you load a screen up in the initialization of that screen, you can say, I want the maximum number of sprites on this screen to be this much. And that of course reduces the sort algorithm down because the sort algorithm is a heavy algorithm. Um, and so by allowing a variable amount, so for instance on this screen, the most sprites I'll ever need on this screen is one for the player, one for the power up, one if I've got the mace on. So I could go into the screen, grab the mace, come back, and then hit that. So that would be one power up, one mace, one player, and two things here. So the most I'd ever need on the screen is 5, which means I don't even need the multiplexer on. So I could turn that off here. Likewise on this screen, the most I'd ever need on this screen is one for this, uh, whatever the length of this line is, one here. I wouldn't need the full 24 sprites. So there would be a way to tone that down so you can divert some of the performance to elsewhere. The problem is I've obviously done something which breaks that system, and it's really screwing up now, and I don't know why. I thought I'd removed all the load updates, but apparently not. There's one in here. There's one in here. those are being called. And then in the multiplexer, there was this piece of code up here, which just created these two variables here. So I'm just going to turn that off just in case I am calling that somewhere else. I don't think I am, but let's give it a try and let's increase the sprites back to 18. It should work with this many. This is how many I had, 24 sprites, and it should work absolutely fine. Oh wow. Impressive. Git blame time. Yeah, if only it would help. See, it crashes there. Now, the crash, from what I remember last time, the crash is to do with it trying to draw um, beyond a particular sprite space. Like it's not loading enough when we come in. So like these values here, these V max multiplex sprites are, oh, hang on. Oh no, they're set here. Okay, these should be fine. Yeah, these should be absolutely fine. Because I had some problems with this loop here. But again, this should be absolutely fine. I don't get what's wrong here. Oh god, all right. Might end up stuck while I figure out this bug. It's going to be to do with this stupid system as well. I should never have touched this. Increase this number, reduce the number of recipes. It's not to do with that because it's crashing because what it's trying to do is it's trying to jump into code that probably doesn't exist anymore. So one of the things that happens is I have this loop here. Is this the draw one? No, this is the sort one. Okay, there is a draw one as well. Yeah, this one. So this has a loop which you jump into through these commands here. Could be something to do with that, and it's jumping to the wrong place, but it is using a jump table, so I wouldn't have thought so. It's definitely to do with the sprites, because when I change the sprite numbers, things change. Like if I set the maximum number of sprites to 8, it should be fine, but we won't see anything. There'll be bits of the laser missing. In fact, it breaks completely because of that. God damn it! What have I done? I think I need to redo the multiplayer at some point. It'd be right if I could work out exactly where it's failing. Oh well, this is going to be the last hour. It's a shame. Oh, it's this medley. I like this medley. The hell is that? Sinclair Spectrum. Oh. Oh, fuck no. Oh, spotted. See, and then it crashes. But it seems like messing with this number here will fix certain things. It shouldn't do. It should be clearing, but let me just check. Maybe I'm not calling the clear. No, I am calling clear here. And the multiplexer should stop when it goes onto the new screen. Maybe the clear sprites is not doing enough. Let's have a look what it's actually doing. Sets the Y pos, sets the frame. That should be enough to prevent the sprites from displaying. Yeah, no, this should be fine. Okay, so one of the problems we've got at the moment is we're trying to draw more sprites than we've got room for. So let's have a look. So I'm setting, let's set 14 here, which is 20. I think I need to write a better multiplex for this. I'm not massively happy with the one I've got here. I've kind of reused it from something else, and I think it should be custom written for this because there are some things about this game which make it a bit more efficient to do. See, that's oh, see, look, what the hell? Uh, I mean, okay. Oh, the fuck? Okay, cloak mode, yeah. Um, okay. First thing I want to do is I want to change these to single frame, single objects like these ones here. Just because it's just going to be a bit easier to spot them. So that would be 68, 9AB, 6B. Okay. I can count them a bit easier then. You see, I can't really count them as they are. So we're saying draw 16, but we're definitely not seeing 16. And the multiplexer is doing some strange things. So instead of doing these for now, I'm going to comment those out. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use I times 20. Well, let's do I times 10 plus 80. And then we'll do the same here. I times 10 plus 70. And this is going to give us a diagonal line, so we can see if the very basics of the multiplexer is working. Because it seems like it's breaking when it gets to the enemy ship, if the enemy ship appears in the bottom for some reason. So I mean, it's fine here. So we know that the multiplexer is kind of working because we can see 3 sprites there. Fine. It's working on this screen because that's 7 for the laser. 8 for the ship. There's a masking one up here which you can't see, but is masking the ship as it goes behind here, and 1 for here. So that's 3, 10 on this screen. So it's managing to do the multiplexing in general form. Okay. Uh, what? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I should have 16, but at least I've got some. They could be going up into the sides here. So let's advance this a little bit more. So let's do times 8 plus 100. Actually, the XPOS is fine, isn't it? So let's do this one here. Let's make them a bit closer together. There we go. And let's make these all at the same position. Let's do these at position 200. So we just should have a straight line down the screen. You guys are picking good tunes at the end of the stream. Last hour. Very good. Yeah, I should not have messed around with the multiplayer. I think I need to redo it and make it slightly more efficient. I mean, it's not bad, but I know there's optimizations I can make. Like most of the sprites are high res and white, so red would just be a special case rather than something that it needs to always be. 3, 6, 10, 12. Okay, so we've got 12, but it looks like there's a gap of 2 here and a gap of 2 here, right? Now, that kind of makes sense, I guess, because that would be the 16. But why is it missing two there and two there? 'Cause that's probably to do with padding. So I think changing the padding would change that, but that's fine. That means that this is kind of working. If I space them out a little bit more, um, I might find that I can pad them out um, less, and it should maybe work properly. But we're definitely getting gaps here. Is Frosty the Snowman classed as a good tune? Oh god, it's not a good tune for February. No. Wow, Chroma's having a typing stroke there. Not bad. Took what, four attempts to get it right. That's not bad. Yeah, there's definitely a weird 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then okay. But I bet if I change the padding, this would work. So if I increase the padding in, is it this one? I'll kind of scroll. Have I got one of these? I think it was this one here. I think if I change this padding, because actually tight formations are not as needed. So not yet through the morning coffee. That'll be it then. That'll be it. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting you're another Australian. So for you it's early morning. No, that's not made any difference. Okay, let's try the other one because I know some of these. This is another reason I need to do it. This I think this is the multiplex that I did for Parasol Stars. I think that's where I've got it from. I need to make a more dynamic one. I think that doesn't need quite as much properties. Everything's high res. Everything's pretty much white all the time. So no, that's not made any difference. Had it okay. And if I change these lower, what happens is the laser breaks. That's what I remember. This was one of the things I was messing with as well. So I've got into reclining my chair mode now. Yeah, see how this is the problem I had last time is it breaks this laser. When the padding is too low, it breaks the laser. But that's actually had no effect on this. Okay. Okay, now let's try just reducing the number in the swarm to 10 instead of 16. Let's see if it can properly draw 10. And let's set that to 16, so let's space that a bit more. It could just be hitting some weird limits in the multiplexer, so should probably start on this screen rather than the previous one. No, you see, it's missed again. It's done 6 and then it's missed 2. So it draws 6, misses 2, and then carries on drawing again. Is it that it's resetting to the? It's going to be a bug in the multiplayer. Definitely just a normal bug in the multiplayer. So let's try in here. Uh, So what I want to see is what's actually going on the screen at this point. So let's just go and get onto the other screen first. It's not crashing though now, which is interesting. So there's something about that value which is causing issues. So you can see the multiplexer doing its job. You see that it's flickering between these two, and you can see so the multiplexer is doing its job correctly. But for some reason on this screen, this is what we see. So we see it draw 6. You can see for one frame here, it does draw this in the correct place, but then it moves them down. So there's an issue with the way that the multiplexer is deciding when to draw the next sprite. So by the time it gets down to there, it's just drawing these two. So it draws these, it goes past that first sprite, and then moves it down to there, and then goes past the next sprite and moves that down. But then it just keeps moving them down the screen. It doesn't wait till it gets there. Okay, that's fine. That will be to do with, let me think. Oh, this is to do with where it pre-calculates the rasters. So what it's doing is, I'll show you this actually in the multiplexer. Once it's worked out the order, it then goes through working out what the raster positions are to display each kind of the next sprite on, and that is stored here. But that value comes from this decision here. So if the index is more than 8, let me just load that up again and go into it. If the index is 8 or more, i.e. it's more than 7, then it works out based on where we are on the screen. And I think this is the error. There's an error in this somewhere, which is not going to be fun to find. It's probably not going to be one I want to really do on stream, but let's see if I can fix it quickly. If I can fix it quickly, then great, but maybe not. Because you can see on here, right, it draws, and because we're only drawing one extra, it's kind of fine. It doesn't miss that line. It just draws the last one down here. But the moment we need to draw more, so we've got one. There should be a sprite up here as well, but maybe that only appears when we're going. Okay, there we go. So we can see at this point we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's our 8 sprites. Then as I move away from the top one, that top laser gets drawn at the bottom, and a second one comes from this. So this laser here, this gets redrawn at the bottom. And then it doesn't matter now because I've drawn everything. So it doesn't matter how much further I go. I don't need to draw anything else. But then on this screen, it goes past the first one and that gets drawn. It goes past the second one and that gets drawn. But it's using the same sprite. It's not advancing that sprite. You notice how only the top sprite moves until I get further down, and then the second one moves. Okay. Do you know what? I thought I could hear some music on it here. I was going to say, this music sounds really weird. Why has it got why has the music in here got pick and mix music going on in it? It's better. You wouldn't have been able to hear that, but it sounded really weird. It's only reusing but it doesn't seem to be consistent about how it's reusing it. That's the frustrating thing here. It seems to be inconsistent about how it uses it. So see, this sprite here. As soon as I go past the bottom of it, so this is the bottom of it here. If I go past it by the padding amount, which is that, then it appears down there. But then as I go past the bottom of the next sprite, which is this one here, that doesn't disappear. Instead, the first sprite gets moved down again. And the thing is it shouldn't be drawing that down there until I get to it, until I'm close to it. So I think this calculation is wrong here, because this is using, well, it's not so much that it's wrong, but it's kind of off by one or something. Something's not right. Yeah, yeah, you mean, yeah, you do mean the right thing. Okay. The problem is I've done so much to this to try and speed it up. The other thing it does as well is it pre-calculates the D010 value. So is the index increasing? That's what I'm trying to work out now. So that gets stored here in the sprite. So this is part of the sort routine here. This is what's doing the sorting. So maybe I need to go and look at the sorted data as well. God, this is not going to be pretty. Did you increase said by mistake? Oh God, yeah. God, yeah. This is not gonna be easy to do on stream. I don't think. I need to do loads of deep. I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing to show you guys how to do these sort of debugs. Yeah. All right. Let's dig into it a little bit. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to look at, first of all, the data for the sprites. We need to see where those are. So the bit that's of interest here is the actual Y position of the sprite and the raster position of the sprite. So the raster position is going to either be a 0, which means there's no raster split for this one. Just use the previous one. I believe I'd need to double check that, but I think if it's a 0, it doesn't have its own raster split. It just piggybacks on the previous sprite, which could be part of the problem. Otherwise, it's a value at which to when the sprite renderer gets to a sprite that has a raster value, it stops rendering and it sets the next IR queue up to trigger this at this point and then continue rendering from there. So these are the two values we're interested in here. Now the problem with this is this array is never ordered. What's ordered instead is a value in zero page, a table in zero page. Should bring up now, which is this one here. And this is an index of, oh, actually, that's one reason why we might be getting crashes. Maybe we're running out of room down here, but I'll check that again in a minute. I don't think we are, though. Let's just double check. Should be a map somewhere. Okay, no, we shouldn't be running out. It should be fine. Oh, I mean, oh yeah, no, it's fine because particle clear. Okay, yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, so this is the index this is what gets sorted, and this just points into this. So we need to go through that list on that screen, based on these values, which means I need to look up a few things. So sprite sorted index is at 6C. So let's bring up a screen that works well for this. So ideally want one with 2. I mean, that's got 2 on it. All right, let's go with that. Although you're not going to be able to see that at all. She's got 3 on it. Hang on, let me see if I can find another one. Every time I hear this, I can't help think of anything but space now. I don't know if anybody else gets the same from that. Where's the freaking? There's a really good screen with 2. I thought it was here. Never mind. Eh. No, all right. thought it was one of these, but apparently not. Oh, it's fine. We'll do it from here. I can copy out the sprite list anyway. Yeah, let me know if anybody, when they hear the A-Team music, thinks of Space. Is it A-Team? I definitely think of that now. Okay, so here's our sprite order. So it starts here and it goes up to what's that, 8, 12. Let's just copy the whole list out. Oh no, I can't copy it, can I? All right, let me write that down then. Okay. So let's just write our list down here. So we've got 0, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, so in fact it goes in order up to 13 after that, right? And then it's got 2, 3, E, F. So I think what we're seeing is sprite 0, and this is sprite 1 down here. And then this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it should be A, B, C, D. So yeah, we're seeing this. This is our list of entities. Wait a minute. Okay, let's. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So you see how it starts at 4? The reason it starts at 4 is because we have first free sprite here. What that means is the first 4 spaces in the multiplex are reserved, and they're reserved for things that always need to be the highest priority. So that's the player, the mace, masks, and there's a spare one in case we need another one later on, which is the reason that one's there. Which is why we've seen 4 as the first one in this list. So other than that, they're in order. So let's go and find out where that lives in memory. This data, and we'll have a look through that. So we're set up to use how many? Oh god, 20. Okay, that's a freaking annoying number, but okay, whatever. I've got to find this now in memory. All right. I wish the labels were. I really need to sort the labels out so they work properly. 43DA. All right, that should be enough to give me. So this 43DA. That means this is 43DB, which means the bit we're interested in here, which is plus 40, which is 43. No, 440. 432. 4402, I believe. Hang on, let me check that. 43. 43DB plus 40. 4403. All right. Oh yeah, of course that's 11. All right, yeah, that makes sense. Then we also need this one here, which is plus 60 from there. So that is 443F. Let me just check that as well. I need to get this spot on because otherwise it's going to get confusing. So 4403 plus 60, which is 3C. 443F. Right, okay. So let's go and have a look for those in memory. 4403. Okay, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are our Y positions. And these correspond exactly to what we would expect from our swarm data here, which is we start at 80, which is 50, and we add 16, it's 10 each time. So we said 80 instead, shout Z80. Yeah, not even real, Z80. Shite 80 is what it should be called because it's terrible. Okay, 50. Yeah, so these numbers are correct. Okay, so we're seeing the right thing here. So the next job is to look at the raster positions for these. So where is it saying that the raster should be for each of these? So we're going to look again into memory. We're going to look at 443F. I don't know how well you guys can see that. I'm going to try and make it a bit bigger. There, it might be a little bit easier to see. Oh no. Oh, God damn it. All right. Okay, it doesn't really matter what I type in here. I mean, it's that, but 443F. So that's here. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so these are the raster positions here. So 0, 1 means that everything's going to be drawn in the initial raster sweep. So the initial raster sweep is going to draw whatever the first sprites are plus anything else to fill up the screen. So in this case, it's this sprite at the bottom down here, which is the old mask sprite, I think, which is from the previous screen. Our ship sprite, and then six objects. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. For some reason we have 0 and 0 here. It doesn't matter because these aren't drawn in a raster split, and neither are these. These are all drawn in one go. And then it gets to here where it says where we need to draw the next sprite. And we can see the raster splits for, so this is, hang on, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 10th one, which is when we get to this point here, is at 69. So you can see my raster Y at the top there. And when that gets to 69, next line is probably going to draw. There we go. So it's just a couple after that because there is a padding value as well. But you can see it does indeed move down and draw it. And then the next one is at 79. So that's fine, but you can see the sprite is moving. It's the same sprite. So let's check the sprite indexes. So that's the next one in the list. So let's add 20 to this one. So that becomes 4453. So I need to check this. I'm not feeling confident with my hex math today for some reason. 4453. Yeah, all right. So that is this bit here. So this is 4453. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Oh God, I've just swiped past 4. Here we go. So this is the indexes. And so you can see we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it goes to 0 and 1, 2, 3. But that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing that sprite just be moved down the screen. It's not yeah, if we look at the sprites that are being used, so if we look at the Y position on here, you can see at the top there we've got a Y position of 5, 0 on sprite 0. As I move down, that then changes to B0. That means it's drawn the next one in the list. But as I move down, it moves to C0, so it's reusing that sprite. So it means these sprite indexes are not actually being used correctly. So I think that's one of the bugs that we've got here. So in that case, let's have a look at how we draw here. So we are grabbing oh no, this is that's the sort loop. Okay, that's fine. But the sprite indexes seem correct. So one of the things to note is that the enemy sprite, the player sprite, and the reserve sprites appear at the end of this list, and this is so they appear in behind everything, or in front of everything. I can't remember which way around it is now, but yeah, it's to do with priority why they're there. So these should just cycle between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go back 0, 1, 2, 3. And you can see there that's exactly what it's doing. Should be drawing 10 sprites. It's using the first 5 and then the next 4. So first 6, sorry, and then repeating with the first 4 of those. But that's not what's happening here. The wrong sprite is being used. So draw non-plex sprite. So this is the bit that draws the first 8 sprites, or sprite. Actually, no, this just draws the player actually at this point, and the second sprite, which is the mask. Then this is what actually draws these 6 reusable sprites over and over again. But I'm noticing, that there is no sprite index being set here. what it's doing, it's loading the values in, and it's setting them based on I. Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. Look, we're reusing these three here. I think it's to do with the jump table. Okay, so in that case, we load a sprite index, yes. Ah, okay, nice and simple. 1, 2, 3. It's because what's happening is I've at some point I've shifted the priority of the sprites around. And it used to be the first two sprites were never used, so I set them both to 0. But now it's the last two that are never used, so I'm going to move them there. Hopefully that fixes this issue. So there we go. I think that is bug fix. And not only that, Magicaris, it has the weirdest PPU on the Game Boy. The way that the PPU works is really awkward. After using a Commodore anyway, it just feels really pain in the arse. I guess it's more like the NES in that you can't change video RAM while it's being drawn. So there we go, perfect. So while the raster is in the middle of the screen, you can't draw. So you got to wait for H blank, and you got to wait for H sync or whatever it's called, and V blank at the bottom to do stuff. Oh my god, it makes it a pain. So it is painful to use. I really don't like it at all. I'll be glad when I've finished. But yeah, there you go. We fixed that bug now. So I hope that made sense to anybody who might have been paying attention to that. But basically, what was happening was the index was wrong, and the reason the index was wrong is because we were reading the index from here. So we're reading it correctly from the multiplexing array, which was showing indeed 0 1 2 3 4 5. But then what was happening is it was using that to work out where to jump to in the jump, so which sprite to draw in the jump table, and the first three in the jump table were all sprite 0, so they were just being reused. Talking about the CPU unit earlier, yeah, I mean, what I'm getting at is the Game Boy in itself is not that pleasurable to write for. It's got some interesting tech, but I think the combination of the really weird Z80, yeah, combination of the weird Z80 and the way that the PPU works just makes it kind of a little bit painful to code for after working with the C64. Saying that though, I do want to go through the same pain again, but with the NES, and I'm pretty sure the PPU is similar, if not slightly worse on the NES, because you don't have the horizontal raster timings, the raster interrupts. So all right, let's change this now back to 16, not 106, 16. Let's up the multiplexer back. So actually, this could have been a source of a lot of my issues with the multiplexer. And I might actually find that this works a lot better now. Interesting. Did you fix the flashing screen? No, I haven't. And the thing is that I've looked at games, and actually almost all games either scroll, which is way too late for me to add to the game now, or they use a color fade in and fade out, so the white always happens, but the screen fades up to white and then back from white down to something. So I may just have to do that. It seems like they just embrace the white flash and turn it into something a bit more elegant. So might have to do that. I don't know. I mean, I'd rather not, if I'm honest, but what's weird is it didn't happen um when I first tested it, so I'm not sure why. Strange. I'm really looking. Oh, see, this is the other thing as well. Too many sprites causes that issue, and I'm not sure what that is about. Let's try again. More familiar with 6502 and I-8080 than Z80. So Z80 always looked weird to me. Yeah, Z80 always looked weird to me. Like I said, I only started doing it last year. And I unfortunately I picked Game Boy as my target system, which probably wasn't the cleverest idea for yeah. There's another bug with the multiplayer, so I'm just going to drop it back down to that. Don't know why that's the case, but okay, whatever. Um, yeah, I think I picked the Game Boy because I liked the sound of it on paper. Um, the the weirdly the PPU actually seemed appealing to me at the time before I dug into it in any depth. But now I've dug into it, I'm less happy about it. No, see, we've got this weird thing here. There is definitely something weird going on still. You see the start of the spiral, but then it turns into this down here. Let's have a look what's going on. But I'm enjoying the Mega 65 is definitely going to be my system of choice now. I'm going to do another pass on my sprite engine soon to introduce sprite unpacking, so on the fly sprite unpacking to hopefully create more room. See why it looks like they are being displayed down there, but then I don't see them on here, so it's almost like there is something clear in the sprites at that point. But you see them being displayed down here, which is weird. Oh no, you don't actually. You get to here, and they display, and then they're gone at that point. Why is that? Something is moving all the sprites off the screen. Again, it has to be something to do with the multiplexer. Not sure entirely what. Let's just reduce the number of sprites being shown by the swarm. I have no idea what's going on here. I'm gonna have to spend some more time doing that. I can't do 652. Oh yeah, it did manage some basic 68K SSM. The Mega 65 is really nice because it uses 65 CO2 or a kind of variation of it, 45 GSO2, which has some really nice stuff like 32-bit addressing in it, 32-bit in zero-page indirect addressing, which is really, really cool, and allows you to do some pretty amazing stuff with it. See, there you go. That's actually drawn 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Actually, it's only drawn 12, not 14. I don't know why. What, 8? Yeah. But it has drawn a spiral. Very, very loose spiral, but it has drawn one. Question is, why is it only drawn 12 when the max is 14 at this point? And do we have any weird no, okay, nothing weird going on down here. So this is drawn 12, which would be 36 in the swarm. So let's put this back to 61 so we can see what that looks like. And let's tighten that swarm a little bit. Just going to do a divide by 2 just to tighten the swarm a little bit there. Found entertain it in Sam Fox Strip Poker. It's pretty amazing. See, now it's not drawn. See, this is where I think it's to do with the padding. Take the divide by 2 out again. God damn it. Yeah, I think I do need to revisit his multiplexer. What I really like as well about the Mega 65 is that it's yeah, that's kind of all right. Looks like a fairly decent sized swarm, but it's obviously it's not doing any swarming yet, so it's kind of very spaced out. What I do really like about it is the fact that um, the way the Mega 65 is set up, there's some pretty amazing stuff you can do with it. So it's not just about the CPU, but like having things like um, kind of hypervisor multiplication and division is really nice. So you can do multiplications in like 1 cycle, I think it is. I think they're super quick. Divisions in like 10 or something like that. So um, really fast, and that's 64-bit as well. 64. Oh, I think it's 32-bit multiplication with 64-bit product, and I think it's 64-bit division with a 32-bit divisor and a 32-bit result. I think that's how it works. Or it might be a 64-bit result and a 32-bit divisor. I can't remember. It's quite powerful. But then also things like the VIC-4 as well. The VIC-4 has just some of the most amazing kind of techniques in it. Like the raster rewrite buffer, which everybody's figuring out now, is really cool. And it's all still 8-bit. It's not 64-bit. That's the cool thing about it. Everything in it, from the hypervisor to the um everything in the system runs like an 8-bit machine. So even though it's on FPGA, but it is all running in 8-bit code and 8-bit system. So I think I might call it a night there. I definitely need to look at the multiplexer. I'm glad I fixed the initial bug, but there's still a bug in there that's going to cause me headaches later on. This should definitely be able to handle almost twice of what I'm seeing on the screen right now. I mean, at least another 50%, definitely. But it's not happening for some reason. I need to go through the multiplexer, so I might try and do that before the next stream. Let's have a look. Who can we raid? Chalk's on. Let's raid Chalk. It's always easy to raid Chalk. I like raiding him as well. He's playing Final Fantasy VII as well still, which is kind of cool. Cool. He's gonna ask. I guarantee he's gonna ask her whether I'm drinking cider or wine. And let's see if he can guess the system. He gets mixed up with which systems I code for. So, and he might mention GoldenEye as well. He's got it into his head that I'm a GoldenEye speedrunner now because I did like one stream with GoldenEye speedruns on it. So, all right, cool. I shall see you all on Saturday for we're going to do a mix. We're going to do continue with the mapping stuff, and for pick a mix, and then we'll do some Mega 65 afterwards. I'm going to look at the sprite unpacking stuff, if I can figure out how to do it ahead of time. So I'll have a think about it, and I'll try and get this multiplexer done for next time. Okay, cool. I shall see you all on Saturday then. Cheerio.